Hey guys, it's Damio. I am showing off my Zombie Fortress Redux version. This originally was created by Ian Mig on the CAG forums, and I just kind of took his and just expanded upon it in many different ways, and I kind of took it in a little bit of different direction, but while also trying to stay true to some of the Zombie Fortress Classic features that I didn't play, but I had watched some videos to kind of see, how far it got in its, release date or in its time. So the first thing I want to go through of what's added is we have new builder shops and also new items and stuff added to the shops. There's a lot of other stuff to cover, but I'm not probably going to get through it in this one video, and I may not even get through it in another video, but let me go ahead and just start with the shops. Alright, so we have gold structures in. We'll go into that a little bit later. Before they are invincible, now they kind of do this, take the same amount of damage as stone, so to speak. Actually, they don't. They take an extremely reduced amount of damage, but before they were pretty much invincible. We'll go into that a little bit later if I remember. So first off, you're going to notice that we added the kitchen and the barracks. Everything else is pretty much hasn't been touched. Maybe just prices have been modified to balance it. The tunnel's a lot more expensive, and we'll go into that for that reason. Mainly because we added in spawn points, so now you could spawn on ballistas, ships, dorms. But yeah, let's go ahead and go with the trader shop first. In the trader shop, I reduced the amount of wood for gold by 500. Now it's like perfectly balanced, I believe, because you could purchase, in terms of purchasing back the wood, I think it's about even. You could also now purchase coins for gold, and now we have NPC Knight, Archer, and Migrants. Let me go ahead and get into the Knights real quick. So the Knights are kind of a work in progress. They're like the most buggy in terms of NPCs. The Archers are much more effective in combat, and for the Knights but for some reason when there's multiple targets, they just kind of get stupid. And I don't know what it is, something I'll probably have to work on later, but right now they're just not the ideal thing when there's a lot of targets. But they're definitely good for clearing out single targets within your base or whatever. So anyways, right now he's in attack mode. I could also put him in stand ground mode, but the Archer has this feature too. Basically, one's in a stand ground, the other one he's in a charge right now. So let me go ahead and show you. So I just put a skeleton out. This is all the CAG AI, so I'm not taking credit for any of the scripting. I just went through the code and added in the stand ground feature and just tweaked it a little bit. And I also tried to tweak in some other stuff like the targeting system to make it a little bit more active, and so far it's kind of better, but like the stand ground mode is kind of more ideal in terms of switching targets and acting accordingly. So right now he's going to kill the zombies by standing around. He's not going to charge it or anything. He's not going to go after the dead body until I tell him to. So I'll tell him to. He can see it. Oops. There he goes. So he's going to finish it off. Archers is kind of the same way. The Archer has a line of sight, so he'll shoot at targets. Let me go ahead and tell the Knight to stop. So let's go ahead and spawn a skeleton. So Archer's in shoot. He's in stand ground mode. If he was in flee right now, he'll run away. Let's see how he runs away. Just like in the normal, challenge mode or whatever, he does all that. But I tweaked his stand ground mode and used some of their other code to make him a lot more active when he's in stand ground mode, so he'll shoot targets. In multiplayer, there seems to be a glitch though where he shoots tons more arrows, and I think it has something to do with the client-server communication and it just getting confused on how many arrows he's shooting. I did increase the archer inventory size, the bot at least. I did also increase the player archer inventory, but not as much, just because I wanted to give the bot archer a lot more ammo, so he is a little bit more worth it, because I think he's firing multiple, like 5 arrow shots. Like one shot is like 5 arrows and it's like a machine gun, but it's kind of inaccurate, so it kind of balances itself out, and it's really useful against bosses. You'll see when you play this. Let's go ahead and talk about migrants too. So here's a dorm. It's just like the normal dorm, but a lot of different changes and tweaks to make it less buggy, because it was really buggy at first. Now it's a lot more simpler. So normally what happens is migrants will spawn randomly throughout the game. Doesn't matter if it's day or night, they'll spawn randomly, and they'll come in, and they'll go directly to the closest player, or they'll go to the nearest dorm. And then they'll just go into the dorm and go to sleep, and it activates the dorm as a spawn point. So let me go ahead and show you that. So just pretend that he just spawned. Normally they'll just follow you, but now he knows there's a dorm nearby, so he's going to go to the nearest dorm. He's kind of stupid. They're kind of like lemmings, so they're going to kind of do the wrong thing. So you kind of have to quest out to get them, just like in the classic version. So he's going to go in there, he's going to create a spawn point for this dorm. Because right now it's not going to be a spawn point. Now it is. So if I were to die, I could click dorm and spawn at the dorm. It could spawn up to an unlimited amount of people, whatever the max is. But when everyone spawns, it kills the migrant. So this is now deactivated as a spawn point. But it could spawn like the entire team at once. So it is valuable in that sense, and it's free. It also gives healing for any NPCs or players that are nearby it, and you could specify how much healing it does. But right now it's pretty low, and it takes a long time to build up your bar. Speaking of the bars down here, I also reworked the UI so that when you extended the hearts in the normal UI system, it covered over your inventory stuff, and that really just made it messy and looked unprofessional. So I had to redux the UI to kind of stack over each other, because you'll notice that if I'm a knight, you know, the hearts, I get a lot more hearts, and these are all, you could change these if you want, but I give the knights a lot of health, because they essentially are doing melee combat. You know, the archers get an extended inventory like the builder, but they also get a reduced amount of hearts, and then the builder has the least amount of hearts, but he still has a lot more than the default one, and he has a couple extra slots, I believe. Does he? Yeah, I think. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So he's a little bit, you know, changes with the health system, gives you a little bit more, because deaths, you know, you're going to die a lot, so it gives you a little bit more of a chance, a fighting chance, and you could heal here at the dorm, or you could make a kitchen. Let's go check out the kitchen stuff. So the kitchen, when you build it, I'm using cheats right now, obviously you figured, you knew this from the beginning, but so the kitchen does nothing until you put something in it, just like the normal kitchen if it's in any other game modes, I don't know. So let's go ahead and build a nursery. So the nursery, it produces, doesn't produce a flower now, it only produces the green plant, tree bush, and the tree pine. The reason I took out the flower just because it's kind of lame. You plant a flower and then you run up to it and you eat it, and I just didn't, it just kind of didn't make any sense to me, so I just removed it, and the grain has more meaning now. You could essentially create a builder shop, or we'll do that in a sec. You could create a builder shop and then buy a fireplace. This is a lot easier to cook things quicker, but you only get one thing first. So if I were to get like a fish right now, see, it creates a fish, it only creates one. But if I were to go to the kitchen with this fishy and cook a fish, he's shooting at the fish. I didn't know he would do that. That's funny. Anyways, so this thing's gonna poop out 3 fish. You could also plant grain and this will grow. This grain seed will grow, and when I chop it up, um, the grain seed will actually stay. That's another change. And you could also get so you could get the grain, and then the grain seed will just stay like the trees and just keep regrowing. So you'll notice right here that we have 3 cooked fish instead of just the 1 over here. So you see the benefits of having a kitchen. So you can have up to 3 food per kitchen, but I could keep putting fishes in here, and it'll just keep producing, food as I eat this food. But you can only have 3 of these out at one time. But yeah, it's good for long journeys. If you're traveling the map, you could store food on you. One food fills your entire health, regardless of how much health you have. Oops. So I'm going to chop this up. You'll see that the grain seed now stays, and there's, where the hell did it go? There's a grain. So yeah, the grain seeds, I don't know, it's been disappearing for some reason, but it usually stays. I think it goes automatically into the nursery if you're nearby the nursery, so let's go ahead and just put it over there. So that's a migrant, he just spawned. See how he comes to me? He's going to follow me wherever I go. I can tell him to stop too, but he just randomly spawned. So they'll randomly spawn in, you go find them, all that stuff. There's already a guy there, so you can save him to put them in there later. I'm going to put this grain in to produce some bread, and it's going to produce bread, up to 3 bread. Now you can just let it sit there, the bread and all that will stay there forever. When I get near here, the bread will be on the floor, so if I just need to heal real quick, boom, heal, maybe grab one for the road, and, be on my way. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the underwater stuff that we added in from, this is Jack D. I Redux his mod too and added in Zombie Fortress and some cool stuff. So we built a builder shop. You're going to notice right away that we have an air tank, fireplace obviously, and we have that weighted companion crate. That's also another mod I added in. I forget who, King George I believe, created that, and so I added that in. I just modified to make it a little bit less goofy, even though I'm sure people prefer it the other way or whatever. You could do that. But here's so first thing you're going to notice is the underwater lantern. It basically just is be able to use it underwater. It floats, it doesn't go out, nothing. It's cool. It's a lot more well lit than the lantern itself. In fact, I would even kind of raise this price because it seems kind of pointless to even buy the normal lantern anymore, because this thing goes on land and over underwater. So yeah, air tank, perfect. This thing's like a scuba tank. Doesn't matter if you have multiple ones, only one is needed. If you have multiple ones, it doesn't have any different effect. Just gonna throw this bread on there. So yeah, air tank, it's in my thing. So now I can swim underwater for 30 to 60 seconds plus, I believe. I don't know the exact time, but it's a fairly good amount of time. In our vehicle shop, I'll show you right now. We have the submarine and the caravel. We also have the war boat, the fast rowing boat, and the dinghy. The submarine is another modification. The air tanks and the other one is from, like I said, Jack D. It came with the sub. I modified the sub to make it a little bit more balanced and also just more relevant, I guess. But here we go. I'll show you. So right off the bat, you're going to notice the Harpoon Gun. I adjusted the sprite and fixed it because it was all buggy before, because this is an older mod from May 2013, so I had to redux it a little bit, but I added the Harpoon down here because this is where the bullet was coming out. The bolt, I mean. And this is like a ballista bolt, so, well, it does a lot of damage. You can do explosive rounds too, but you can only shoot straight up or straight forward. You could try to do like a smaller shot like that to shoot down, but ideally if you want to shoot things, you could just kind of hold it down longer, just like the ballista. Yeah, so let me go ahead and, it's really hard to get this thing. Actually, I got out of the back up. You can't drive from the, that was a gunner spot. So there's 4 spots total. You can only get in through the front, so you notice how I can't get in through over here. So you can only get in through the front right there. And any of these spots control the boat. So S is to go down, A is to go left, D is right, don't press it. Mouse controls have no effect. It's just, yeah. So you can go pretty quick. I sped up the speed a little bit. This is also a spawn point now, because I just figured how cool it would be a underwater spawn point. Say like I parked it right here, and anytime you spawn, you actually spawn inside the boat, so you can immediately get into it. And while you're in the sub, you have unlimited air. If I were to get out of the sub right now, I would start to suffocate if I didn't have an air tank. And also, here, smash this. I'm gonna smash this shark right here. Boom. So anyways, that's obviously cool. You got 4 people, one's a gunner. It's now a lot quicker, so you can kind of run away from zombies if you're underwater. And for those maps that flood, you now have a way to still be relevant in the map. And these are now a spawn point. They have inventory. I didn't want to make them too overpowered, so you know, I left the option to switch classes, just because adding it as a spawn point is a huge thing. So I might add some air tanks to it just for fun, because like, you know, it'd just be cool. Maybe a little bit more bolts. I don't know, but that might be something you can do yourself too. Let's go ahead and just get out of it. So yeah, so that's that. It's pretty cool. Submarine, awesome. Also added in the caravel. You guys might be familiar with this. So the caravel, massive ship, awesome. Already coded. No work needed on my end. I think I just maybe tweaked the speed or something, but yeah, it has 3 mounted guns. Also has the mounted siege weapon. You guys know about this already, it's on the forums, but yeah, it's added in, it's awesome. Great job. I think it was fire, I'm sorry, I can't remember, but it's fire something. You can find it on the forums, it's really popular. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the AI changes. So, it's hard to really explain. A lot of the AI is back end. You're not going to really notice too much about them. Actually, before I get into the AI, I'm going to show you some of the system stuff that I changed. You'll notice on the top left that there's, you know, the day that you're on. We're still on day 1. By the way, I increased the day cycle for this video just because I didn't want to have the day cycle cycling and spawning zombies and all that jazz. I could have just turned off the spawn, but like I said, it's a simple thing, and I just wanted to make it for this video. And anyways, for this map, you have a survival record here. So on this map particularly, it could be any map, doesn't matter. There's no things that you have to do. It keeps track of it. There's already a system where it saves the map's name and all that stuff. So you have to do nothing. So when we're on this map, the record for this map is day 7, right? So we want to beat this record. We want to survive for 7 days. You can also, when the map is, you know, essentially when you beat the record, if you die after you beat the record, a winning sound will be played, and if you don't beat the record, then a losing sound will be played. Also, when it's the boss round, it'll also play a sound to indicate that it's the boss round. Or you can look at these texts up here. It changes. The text changes based on what day it is. Some of the text doesn't change just because it's too lazy, and it's a lot of work to make this like look the way it is. If you look in the code, you'll see what I mean. But I was just basically working with what I knew how to do. So, yeah, all these things are going to change based on what day it is. So right now we're going to see that the boss is enabled on day 5. When it hits day 5, bosses are enabled, you know. And then after that, it'll be every 7 days after it's enabled. So every 7 days after the boss is enabled, there will be a boss round, a single boss round. And X amount of bosses will spawn, and they'll be all the same bosses, except for the dragon. If the dragon spawns, he's buffed up. The reason I only put 1 dragon is because he lags the server when there's multiple ones, but he does a pretty good job when it's only just 1. And then there's also a green troll, a minotaur, and I'll show you that right now. I'll probably die and this will end the video or something, but you kind of get the gist of some of the changes. You guys are probably like wondering, like, what's the point of the kitchen, right? Well, the quarters is optional now, and it's a lot more expensive to purchase the food, so you'll notice that it's really pricey. This is because we want to make everything else more relevant. The dorm relevant, the kitchen relevant, And there's just more stuff to do and make more systems. Whereas the quarters is kind of convenient, but if you're killing a lot of bosses and you have thousands of bucks, quarters really convenient. Boom, buy some food. If you're lazy, you don't feel like making some food in the kitchen real quick. So yeah, bosses.